An appalled former Director of Immigration, William Pratt, is seeking whatever means needed to have his name cleared from a visa fraud case, and that may very well take the form of a legal battle. The Federal Bureau of Investigation has implicated Mr. Pratt and his successor, Clarence Russell, as accepting bribes to provide Bahamian work permits and work visas to Haitian nationals looking to enter the United States. Edward Israel Centil is said to be a key player in the scam. Determined to clear his name, Mr. Pratt stressed in a release that he never sold or received bribes for any permits or anything else in his 5 years as director. In fact, he said he has never met Mr. Centil, never even knew what he looked like until he was shown a photo online, and never had any dealings with him or any other person in an illegal, unlawful conduct of any kind. These applications, said Mr. Pratt, are considered based on information received, which must justify the request. The ex-immigration director added that it is unjust to permit what he called loose, untested allegation to come into the public domain, sullying his character and integrity without any opportunity to refute it. The damage has been done, he said, and now it is left for me to use my personal resources to seek redress by having to prove a negative. A former cabinet minister and MPs calling out the Minnis administration. George Smith's asking that the government stop lying to Bahamians. This in the face of an increased cost of electricity, which has pushed many out of the $200 ceiling of value-added tax exemption, so much so that the Prime Minister last week announced that that cap will be bumped to $300.
They haven't yet convinced the population. You talk about increasing the bill before you tell them how you arrive at the bill. What are you going to do for it? You know, if I'm going to tell you that the bread I'm going to bring you tomorrow is going to cost you 10 cents more, I should bring the bread so you could be satisfied with 10 cents more. Nobody believes what we've been saying about electricity. We haven't come up with a solution that works. But I believe that if we engage some of the minds in this country who can take their eyes off the politics of electricity and put it on satisfying the people's need for an affordable electrical supply.
Now, as far as Mr. Smith sees it, the Bahamas has become a country of have-nots as the cost of living rises and thousands of Bahamians go to bed without food, struggling to make ends meet. He's then urging Bahamians to come together to foster change.
And we've got to stop fooling ourselves. Those who think they can lock themselves in comfort behind great wealth and behind gated communities. And what people want desperately is a new group in whom they could repose some confidence. I am praying that such people.
Mr. Smith was at the time appearing as a guest on the Love 97 weekly talk show, Jones and Company. Relatives and friends of missing pilot 34-year-old Byron Ferguson have wrapped up search efforts on the ground and with the assistance of local pilots are conducting an aerial search, hopeful that they will find him. Brought to tears, the family yesterday expressed their extreme frustration with search and rescue attempts.
Do you respond to a plane crash in the water without dive equipment?
I mean, here's my thing. He's an experienced pilot. He took all the necessary preparations as you would when you're experiencing difficulties. My thing is, this isn't the first time that there's been a plane crash or anything of this nature. The Defense Force said they send a unit, they responded, no divers were on board, no divers responded until the very next morning. My thing is, if this is when American vessel, United Airlines, a Delta Airlines that had went down, would they have gotten the same response where no divers would have been in the water, nothing, no equipment, nothing available?
That's Byron's younger brother, Ashton Ferguson, who admitted that while they remain hopeful, they are bracing themselves for the worst.
The information that we obtained, my brother, he encountered difficulties about 40 miles off of the coast with his dog. He radioed a search into the air traffic control. I think about 15 miles again. He contacted again with engine problems. He was an experienced pilot. He flew internationally. He was out he had clarity of mind in what he was doing. His friend who was supposed to collect him from the airport, he texted him a message to let him know that he needs to track the plane or such. So he was aware that probably this plane is gonna have some issues and he was gonna have to do something. So he asked his friend, who's also a pilot, who would know what to do to track the flight.
Giving up on my husband. He's an excellent pilot, and I'm sure he's out there. I'm not giving up on my husband, and I don't expect anyone out here to give up on him.
The Ferguson family insists they will not stop until they find a resolution. The father of two's six-seater Aztec crashed in waters off Nevada Beach Thursday night. You're watching JCN News. Stay with us.
This segment of the news was brought to you by Alive.